George is one of these people in our community who lives day to day, being the best person he can be. And I think that's really what it means to be a humanitarian. It's your personal effort, and he always gives his best.
Throughout the years, he has worked on many different initiatives, both in the Quincy Public Schools as well as in the community at large.
You'll notice a pattern that runs through most of the things that George has always been involved with. And the pattern is students, kids, the youth.
I think George invests in the youth of the Quincy community because they're worth it.
I'm so happy for George and so proud of him and pleased that he's being honored with this Humanitarian Award because he's the ideal candidate.
I don't think he grew up here, but he really wants to make Quincy a better place to live.
And see, he grew up in East St. Louis. Well, it's kind of a funny story.
Well, the way the story goes,
After his first year in college at St. Louis University,
his parents got afraid that he was going to quit school and get married.
his mother came in his room one day and said, "Get up, we're going to Quincy, Illinois,"
Pack your bags, you're going to Quincy College.
to get him away from his girlfriend. So instead he came to Quincy and met me, and that was the end of it.
I know he started as a teacher and he became assistant superintendent and then eventually superintendent.
What didn't he do for QPS? I mean, he has done a lot through the years. He has developed the child mentoring program. He has worked with the QPS Foundation and the Alumni Association.
Well, the QPS Foundation started in 1988 because a volunteer group recognized the need for private funding for public education, and I believe George was instrumental in helping that group get started, and he was one of our first trustees.
There had been interest in an alumni association, but the public schools had never had one.
And George recognizes that need, and we're constantly talking about new ways we can reach out to our alumni so they can see the great things that are happening in Quincy and hopefully want to give back. Near as I can tell, George never really retired.
There were a couple false starts with the retirement.
He's had several parties. He claims he retired, but I'm not sure that he has.
It's hard to say that George actually retired.
Upon retiring as superintendent, though, he was called by an acquaintance at Quincy University, and they got him on staff there as a professor.
And introduced them to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
And what came out of it was using the 7 habits in the schools.
I would certainly say that the Academic Success Initiative has been one of his biggest accomplishments.
And the goal is to have it in every school, pre-K through 12th grade in all of Adams County.
That's something that I know I'm quite proud of, and I know George is very proud of.
He thought it was important to reach every student.
He saw so many youngsters whose lives were so far from the ideal,
It's our responsibility to help them.
and hoped to give them better lives so that their futures would be brighter.
I think that education is just in his blood, and that he will continue doing it as long as he possibly can, and he sees the benefits.
George's impact on the community is one of those things that we're going to feel forever.
I think our community would be at a loss without George Meyer.
I'm just really, really proud of George. It's a great honor, but so well deserved.
Kids are important to George. Students are important. And if you ask him why, he would tell you it's because they are worth it.
I would say that just as his daughter, that I am just extremely proud and just blown away at the things that he has accomplished. And I'm just very grateful to get to be a part of recognizing him and his accomplishments.
I'm proud of him. I love him. I'm glad he came from East St. Louis to Quincy. How's that?